Hey everyone, I am here with a good friend of mine up in the Seattle area, Edmonds area. His name is Gregg Jantz, Dr. Gregg Jantz, and he is the director of the Center, a Place of Hope up in that area where they are a center and a place of hope. And that's part of the reason why I'm bringing him on today. Some of you may remember that Gregg was with us a few years ago at church. And I think the story we all remember, Gregg, is how you would sneak into the Seattle stadium as Santa Claus in December with your son. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, for all the spiritual wisdom you dropped on us, that's what we remember.
Oh man. Okay, yeah. We got to change it today. We'll do better today.
Are you still a Seahawks fan?
I don't know. Are we going to have any games?
Yeah. Well, who knows? Who knows? So the reason why I asked Gregg to be with us is, we've been talking about a lot of different things together as a church, from racism and spiritual health and emotional health. And Gregg is in the business of helping people navigate their emotions and even their physical lives along with their spiritual lives. Gregg, from your perspective as a therapist and the work that you do, looking at people who are living under COVID now for 4 months, what are some of the big concerns that you have or are seeing when it comes to people, when it comes to their emotional well-being?
Tim, I can tell you what we're seeing, and let me just share that. And we are still working with people who come in for help for anxiety and depression from around the country still. People are still getting on airplanes, and there reaches a point, and this is what we're seeing, it reaches a point where it gets so absolutely on the edge that you realize, I need help. And so what quarantine does is we know that over time, now we all can handle this for a little while, but over time, as human beings, sometimes we turn to unhealthy ways to cope, self-destructive behaviors, alcohol consumption. We know alcohol sells, depending on where you live, it's up 500 to 600%.
Wow.
We know that if you're online, you're in the digital world all day long, and you're getting all these notifications on this thing, and you're following the news all day, by the end of the day, you're going to probably be depressed or anxious. So we're seeing folks who it's been chronic stress, and for many, chronic stress even financially. So that chronic stress now has reached a level where I'm seeing people in despair or on the edge of despair, and we're not thinking clearly. And part of this is compounded. We're exhausted, and we don't know what the future holds.
Yeah.
I mean, Tim, it's like, okay, I've weathered all this, but now the future, with all this unrest, things seem uncertain. And so people start to lose hope. And I saw this morning that we have record number of course, suicides and suicide attempts. And even among our police officers, we just hit an all-time high this year of suicides. Mm. So we're seeing this go in a very concerning direction.
So, Gregg, your center deals with people kind of on a long-term basis, helping them with a lot of different things. But there are a lot of us folks who we're stuck in our homes.
Yeah.
We can't really go anywhere. What are some things that people can do from your perspective to lessen the anxiety, the despair, the depression? And let's start emotionally, and then we'll talk physically and spiritually. Let's start emotionally.
Well, we need to understand that part of what we're experiencing right now, if it's anger, frustration, depression, anxiety, well, that's going to be normal for us all. We've all kind of had that right now. But we also make a decision during this time, and I don't know how long it's going to last, but I'm going to use this time to reset, to grow emotionally stronger. So do I have too much anger? Am I showing too much frustration towards my loved ones, towards the world? Where's this anger and frustration going? So kind of do a little check on that. What's my fear level? Anxiety, worry, and then guilt. People are feeling a lot of maybe shame and guilt. So look at those 3 deadly emotions as a place and go, how am I filled up with all these emotions right now, feeling overwhelmed? We've got to keep our physical movement. When you feel taxed emotionally, you've got to keep the physical movement up. I'll tell you something that we're doing right now with our staff. I'm reaching in my drawer because we say you have to go out a minimum of twice a day, 20 minutes, a little bit longer is fine. Go for a walk. I want you outside, but I also want you to pull up. And we're using old-fashioned 3x5 cards. Put them in your pocket. Go outside, and we have different verses from the Bible written on our 3x5 cards. And I tell the staff, just say those verses out loud as you go out there and walk, because we've got to have a way to renew our minds and take, it's really easy. Where are we putting our point of focus emotionally? Am I depleted by the end of the day? Or am I renewing my mind? And in renewing my mind, am I affecting my emotions? So that's just one little thing that we're doing.
You're touching on some things that Michael Gurian, our mutual friend, brought up well. And this is the stuff that we're putting into our brains while we're in lockdown. We're probably absorbing far more news than we should, far more social media posts than we should. And what you provided there is a way to displace some of that stuff with God's grace, good news. And even if people just go online, which, we don't want them to do a lot, but just say Bible verses on hope.
Oh, yeah.
Write those down on these cards or whatever and read them before they go to bed at night. Go for a walk. Of course, it's 140 degrees here at 4 a.m. So it's a little awkward to get outside, but we can walk around our yards. Sure. We can walk around our house. I go for a bike ride every morning. Those things are all, and I know for you, emotions, physical, the spiritual, they all go together.
They do.
So let's talk a bit more about for you as a Christian person. What does the gospel bring to us to get us through days like this that help really go beyond just these normal 10 steps to emotional health?
Yeah, we've got to have an anchor. Where are we anchoring right now? And, I'm reminded, one that we're saying over and over is, the Lord's my strong tower, and to run to my strong tower. And that proverb keeps resetting. Okay, where's my strong tower? I'm going to give you a real personal example. My wife, 6 years ago, went through a lot of chemotherapy, and she developed something called chemo brain, where you kind of you can't think, or your short-term memory struggles. And she started something. She's in the same spot every morning for her devotion and quiet time. Same spot, nearly the same time, every day. And I realized she's going to that safe place, that strong tower, but she's doing something that really has been profound for me. And she started a gratitude journal.
Yeah.
And she started this while she was going through chemotherapy. And it was amazing to watch every day writing gratitude as a part of her devotions. And it was a couple weeks ago, but I asked her, I said, okay, how many gratitudes are you up to? Now, this has been about 6 years. The reason I remember the number is she said 20,220. I'm thinking, wait a minute. Say that you're up to 20,220 gratitudes? And she says, every day I just write. And she says, it helps me keep my sanity. And I realized that, and that prompted me to go on a search in the journals and see who has studied gratitude and the power of gratitude. I couldn't believe it. I found studies on gratitude. Yeah. And gratitude actually promotes optimism for the future. I thought, wow, she's got a lot of optimism. I need to learn from her. So that was powerful. And so I think if we can, those first few minutes of our day, if we're running over to Facebook or we're running to see what's in the news, take a few minutes to anchor, go to that strong tower, that place of safety in your home, renew your mind. And, I don't know, maybe it's even 5 minutes, whatever it is, but renew your mind and end with gratitude. This was powerful for me. And it's something that I'm really working on during this season to really, to be a person of of gratitude and sincerely mean that. One of the things that came out of that for us is she, I'm just telling you what my wife's done with me.
Yeah.
So I'm holding my phone. She put on our devices every morning. This is our family. The notification pops up and it says 1 person a day. 1 person a day? And she said, yep, that's your reminder. This is to our boys and to everybody. This is your reminder that God's going to send 1 person a day that needs a positive word, needs a help, needs a lunch, whatever. But be aware of 1 person a day. How profound. Because when we're overwhelmed emotionally and we're self-absorbed, we forget sometimes about other people.
Yeah.
And if I can get outside myself, and I have to tell you, that little 1 person a day notification has helped me a lot.
Yeah. So why am I interviewing you and not your wife?
She would be good. Yeah, you can see how she's helped me.
Yeah. Well, that is, and of course that, Gregg, that's all so biblical. The Bible says in everything, not for everything, but in everything, give thanks.
Yes.
This love your neighbors, you love yourself, and God just brings people in. And when we get that focus turned outward, even when we're sitting in our homes, we can still pray for other people. And we can make a prayer list, and we can send a text to someone and say, I prayed for you today. Or, take a picture of ourselves and send it and say, I'm thinking of you. There are so many things that we can do to get us out of our brains, because that's where we are right now, right?
Yes.
We're so much in our brains. We're concerned. We're confused. We're bombarded with important news, but it's not good news. And again, it's been 4 some months for people. We haven't been able to hug the people we love. So this stuff is also very, very helpful. When you think about the inability for us as human beings right now, in most places, Arizona is one of them right now, to hug people we haven't seen for a long time, what are some things that we can do to sort of meet that need for physical touch if we're isolated from others? Is there anything we can do, even mentally, to trick ourselves into thinking we've gotten that physical touch?
The physical touch is so important. I think of 3 basic needs that we all have. A look. We need a look. We need to see the eyes. We need a touch, and we need a word. We need a positive word. And so it's a little hard. Now, put your mask on. It's a little hard to, at times, because we communicate so much through our face. One of the things that I'm suggesting is that we find a way, and maybe it's 3, 4, 5, probably no more than 5 people, that you're going to really work on being close to emotionally. I'm going to reset some relationships. If I need some unforgiveness or forgiveness in a relationship, if whatever I'm going to work on, I have an opportunity to grow closer to 3 to 5 people that really are significant to me. I've been working on a person who I've been faithfully calling and reestablishing a relationship, and trying to carry that a few steps further, a little closer, a little more intimate. And so I think if we can increase that sense of emotional intimacy, it doesn't necessarily replace a hug, but I can still feel close to a person.
That's good.
And so how can I increase emotional closeness or emotional intimacy? Well, you gave some great examples. Maybe it's a text. I think the visual really helps. I'm grateful we can do this. Visual helps. We certainly communicate a lot through our voice tone, but find a way. Who are my 3 to 5 people that over the next 30 days, I'm going to work on moving it a little bit closer? Because you know what? When going through all this, what do we really have? Well, really, we have our relationships, and we need each other.
So what's so helpful, Gregg, is that you're positioning this time not as a time of loss, but as a time to do some new things, a time to grow mentally, emotionally, to grow physically, maybe some new physical habits. building some relationships, and to take advantage of this time to see what God wants to do in us and through us. That's just so helpful to reposition the way we think about this time.
Well, I thought about it. I'm either going to reset and grow stronger, though it's painful, or I'm going to regret. I'm going to regret. I didn't reach out. I became more depressed. I turned to alcohol. I'm going to end up with regret.
Yeah.
And let's reset versus regret.
See, that's great. And even for all of our folks who are watching, that's really what we as a congregation are going through right now.
Yes.
We've moved to being an online church. The staff right now is praying through what does it mean to reset for a post-COVID world, where we could be online for a long time.
Sure.
And how do we build in our folks some of the things that we just talked about, that physical touch when we're not together? Mm-hmm. How do we resource emotional health and all of these things are so important, not just for us as human beings, but our businesses are thinking this, our churches,
right?
We're all thinking, what is it going to look like? And none of us have a clue. And that's why we start with ourselves, right? And following Jesus into this new normal.
That's that uncertain future.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Gregg, let's talk just a little bit before we wrap up, because you are such a holistic place, and I'm going to give you a chance to sort of promote your ministry there in a moment. But talk a little bit about food and diet during a time like this.
Yeah, one of the things when we get anxious, our self-care tends to drop. And I'm going to reach over here and grab my bottle of water. This is number 2 for the day. That's a lot of water.
Yeah.
But when you're anxious, people tend to drink less water.
Yeah, okay.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
We tend to drink other things. You're depressed, you're anxious. Some of the things that I know it sounds so basic, but people forget to drink their water or enough water.
Yep.
And people tend to either skip meals or they start eating all through the day. I think, people will skip breakfast. I wake up anxious. I don't feel like eating. And then they'll eat a lot more or unhealthy eating during the afternoon and evening. For those that have been working so much from home or trying to, it's really convenient to have food all around this computer screen. So what are you putting in your mouth? What is it? Am I resetting my nutrition or am I regretting?
Yeah. I find for me, and I'm really pretty careful what I eat, but comfort foods for me are not healthy foods.
Yeah, right.
Burger and fries, and that's the comfort food.
Yeah.
And lots of pasta and breads. And so I have to really monitor myself to say, all right, you're going to get one cheat meal a week.
Oh, there you go.
And, and I like the healthy food I'm eating. Right. I love that stuff, but there's just something about a burger and fries for me. Somebody else, it might be, that big steak, who knows, potato chips, a lot of potato chips or ice cream. And those are the things that, we all do this. Well, I did it today. I broke my diet today, so I might as well break it again tomorrow. And 2 weeks from now, we're feeling pretty crummy about ourselves. So there is a little bit of discipline to life when we reset, isn't there?
There is. And it's developing a stronger sense of self-discipline. You'll feel better. You'll be glad you did.
That's right.
Other areas, of course, sleep. Sleep can get really disruptive. If anxiety level gets too high, you may wake up during the night and feel that heart's pounding, or you wake up and you're kind of gasping for air. And it's almost as though your body's having like a panic attack during the night. So I think it's important, again, some of this is normal. We just can't stay stuck here. So look at your self-care and go, what do I need? What do I need to be doing right now that over the next 30 days, it really will make a difference?
Yes. So Gregg, tell us just very briefly about the work you're doing, and if people are interested, how they can get a hold of you, what your website is.
Well, one of the things this is in August, it'll be 38 years. 38 years. How's that possible? 38 years of the center, A Place of Hope. And we're a facility, we're what's called a residential facility where people come. And we were, a few years ago, voted in the top 10 places to get help for depression. And really the reason for that, I think, is this whole person approach.
Yep.
And that we really, for long-term success, we've got to cover all those bases of the whole person. We're faith-based, and we believe that that's one key of the whole person, to address issues of our faith, what we believe, our life mission. So it all comes together.
And what's the website?
Oh, I'm sorry. A Place of Hope. aplaceofhope.com.
.com. Great. And you are a prolific writer. Are you still writing at least a book a year?
Well, that's been my goal. Let's see here. Here we go. Right here. Isn't that nice and handy? Healing Depression for Life was my latest book. And it's really all about, because I'm passionate about this whole treatment of people wait too long and they suffer too long.
Yeah.
And so we packed this book up with healing. My belief, I can heal depression for life. It doesn't mean I don't ever have a struggle, but I know what to do when I have a struggle. And
are all of your books on your website? At least
my website or your favorite retailer.
Yep. Very good. Gregg, thank you so much for joining us. It has been an honor to reconnect with you. It's been too long.
Yeah. So good to see you today. Thank you.
So helpful. And hey, God keep you all safe up there in the Seattle area and bless the work you're doing. Thank you, my friend.
You got it.